Well, welcome. I'm Perry Williams, and we're at Hamilton Islands High School, and I'm with the boys basketball coach, Chad Ballenger. Welcome, Chad.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. Let's get right into it here. Let's talk a little bit about the Huskies 2016 and 17. I know you lost some good senior players, but as good programs go, which you are a good program, you have those kids that can step up, and that's one of the hard things about being a head basketball coach, because you get a new group every year. But it's kind of exciting, though.
It is exciting. We're looking forward to this year. We lost Hunter Christ and Dustin Williams and T.J. Freeland and Alex Trackman off of last year's team, who was a big part of our conference championship. So we're looking forward to building off another great year that we had last year. We do have Sterling Weatherford and Cayman Lutz, two of our top scorers, back from last year, which is a very important part to start with those two, along with Maxwell and Austin Sauertag. So we really have four starters back from a team that went 16-9. Ended on a little disappointing note last year. We got beat in the sectional by Marion, who ended up being the state champion. But we were up 5 late in that game, let it slip away. But the big story was we didn't quit. We were down 20 and came back and had the lead in the fourth quarter. So we want to build off of that. When I came here, this is my 10th year. And my first goal here was we just wanted to win a conference championship. We hadn't won an MIC. They'd always competed, but we wanted to get over that hump. And right now we're on, we've won 4 in a row and 5 out of the last 6 conference championships. Last year being the new Hoosier Conference. So, that's where we're at. We want to compete for championships. We've been fortunate to win 2 sectional championships in that time, but my goal is to take that a next step. We've never won a regional game at Heights. We're due. I really feel like we're due. That's kind of been the goal for us, is we want to go farther than what we've ever done, and we're working towards it. We've got great kids, and we're just gonna build off of what we've been doing the past 10 years. Noah Wallace and Clayton Worthman are 2 other seniors that are going to be a part of our program. Noah played last year for us on the varsity, and just a real good defender. He's actually committed to play college baseball, so he's a good athlete, and we're looking for him to step up a little bit from what he did. And Clayton's coming up from the JV. He's hurt right now. He's got a few injuries from a dirt bike accident, but
Oh, goodness.
Great kids, and we've got some outstanding seniors that are going to lead us this year.
Yeah, and, some of those seniors are no strangers to varsity basketball. I mean, Sterling's did he play with you as a freshman?
We brought him up late as a freshman. He got the dress. Cayman's been around since his sophomore year.
Yeah.
So those guys have all, been a part. And that's what I've said. A lot of times when I talk, I've got to say, hey, I know you guys have been there, but you got to lock in and focus, because sometimes when you get that many returning guys, they think it's easy. And there's nothing easy about the start of our schedule. I think we're an outstanding basketball team, but I think we could get a real test and hand it to us early. We're at Lebanon, we're at Mount Vernon, we're at Newcastle, we got Guerin Catholic at home, we've got Noblesville before Christmas. It's just Cass coming to our place. It's brutal. There's nothing easy, but as I said, it's all about March. So we might get beat up early, but I still feel like we're a good basketball team, and once we get rolling and get our kids focused and locked in, and we start figuring out our roles, we're going to be a pretty good basketball team.
The one thing about it is the Husky program, athletic program, and everything, they never fear playing an opponent, okay? And you coaches, athletic director, Kurt Ogden, you guys have done a great job in scheduling in all sports, and basketball has always been that way with you guys. And you scrimmage Pendleton Heights, which is a good program, okay? So, and then you go on the road, for 3 games with Lebanon, Mount Vernon, and Newcastle. So, yeah, you'll get tested early.
We will get tested. That's something I made a big emphasis on over the last few years, just to try to get our guys more exposure. We really beefed that schedule up. It's always been good. We had a few teams drop us, and the teams we picked up were top-notch competition, the Lawrence Norths, the North Centrals. Those are games you're going to go into that even with our best teams possible, we're probably not going to be able to get a win out of it, but just the competition level and what we can do will give us a big benefit come tournament time. And we've been fortunate to have some college kids, college players, and that's what we've wanted to do. We wanted to give us a challenge, and we wanted those kids to be seen.
Yeah, Coach. Now let's talk a little bit about it's so much different these days. But let's talk a little bit about some of your younger players that maybe you have on the JV that you think may have a very, very bright future here at Hamilton Heights.
Yeah, we've got a big junior class, and our sophomore class is new to the mix in that junior varsity. So we've got A.J. Fields, a kid from Noblesville that comes in that's really going to help us. He's fitting right in, really worked extremely hard. I think he's really going to help our JV out. We got a benefit of 6'8" Sam Fulton came back out. He's probably a Division I baseball player. Hadn't been around the basketball scene in a while, but wanted to go again. And you're going to see leaps and bounds out of that kid as the year goes. He might actually challenge by the end of the year to be a varsity player. Very raw skill set. Just every day he's doing something more, but he's got what you can't teach, and that's 6'8". And been real pleased to see that. We've also got Drew Maynard and Cray Leininger, two sophomores that Cray's a workhorse, just a hard worker, will run through a brick wall. And Drew Maynard was the leading scorer off the freshman team last year that can shoot the ball real well. And Sam Wall is the last sophomore in that group, point guard, leader, very stoic, quiet, gets a job done. I really like what he's been doing, has no fear. Mix it up. He's not a very big person stature-wise, but hard worker, and I really like what I see out of him right now.
A little bit different going into a new conference. Now, were you in that new conference last year, or is this
Yeah,
your
this is our second year in the conference. Yeah.
So it's a little bit different, playing a little bit different opponent, and I see you got lapel on that and Tipton, so in Frankfort, and then of course with Lawrence North and Noblesville. So outside of conference play, you're not playing any patsies.
There's no patsies. It's they always talk about balancing your schedule, and we really don't have any true balance. I've always talked about you needed those 5 or 6 toss-up games, maybe 5 games going in that 8 out of 10 years you're going to win, to try to balance it out. And we really don't have that balance. It's when I came here, I never would have thought Heights was going to be playing in the Muncie Central Sectional and the Marion Sectional, and they were in Newcastle right before I came. But the scope's really changed, like you said, in football and basketball. It's in all sports for us right now. It's pretty tough.
I think one of the great things that's happened to kids today is the opportunity with travel basketball and with AAU basketball. These kids are getting to see a lot of, probably when you started out earlier in your career coaching, if you were a small school and you were playing Lawrence North or Westfield or something like that, the kids would be, like a deer in a headlight.
Yes.
We're going to play them
That's right.
type play. But today, with the level of competition that these kids have played, like a Sterling Weatherford, I mean, you're not going to shock him playing any of these guys. He's played all of them.
That's right.
He's played at a very, very high level, and there's other kids, and I know my grandson's involved in the travel basketball team up here, and yesterday they played Fishers. They're in a league with Noblesville and Westfield and Carmel and Guerin, so it's nothing to them.
That's right, and they've seen it, and that's what we've continued to do. Is even though our sectional is 3A, we've tried to beef that up and play 5 4A teams and play the best that we can. And you don't have to go too far around here with the the Noblesvilles and the Westfields and North Central and Lawrence North and Southeastern and Fishers. We've worked to try to get them back on. They've contacted us, but our dates haven't met yet, so that's something we're looking forward to. That would be a good draw crowd-wise.
Oh, absolutely.
The history of it, even though that we might not be able to win a ton of those games, in the long run, it just makes us a lot better.
Oh, yeah, it makes you a really good basketball team. And, that's one of the things that, Garin Catholic, which is a 3A, that's one of their successes is they have played tough competition and not
yes.
afraid to play anybody.
They're not afraid to
much,
play anybody.
Much like you guys, and it pays off at the end.
It does. It does. It's we could easily go out and probably find a few lesser games that we know we'd probably win, but I just don't know in the long run if that helps us. And our goals, like I've said, we want to make those extra steps in the tournament, so we want to be challenged.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking time. Any other kids you'd like to mention?
We haven't mentioned our juniors. It's a really big class. We're going to play some juniors down on JV, which has been really rare for me to do that. But in the big picture, as I've told them, I see them helping us next year, and we wouldn't keep them around if we didn't think they could help us. But our junior class, we've got Caleb Bean, big 6'6", really getting better, who's going to help us. He's in that top varsity mix. Max Beal was our leading scorer off the JV, and he's in that top 8 or 9 right now, really vying for some minutes. I've liked what I've seen out of him defensively too, so we're still plugging with him. And Michael Cross is up from the JV, just a winner. He's probably one of the first baseball, football, basketball kids. He's a 3-sport kid. I've had a lot of multi-sport. He's the first one that's hitting those big 3, and he's a winner. You put him out there, and his skill set might not equal some of those others, but he's on the floor, and he makes things happen. So I'm really pleased with him. Grant Lapoitevins, a junior that can really shoot it, that we're looking forward to. And Owen Powell, Drayden Thomas, Colton Welch, all move-ups from the JV. Tyler Wildermuth started for us last year as a sophomore. He's the one letter winner as a sophomore that's going to be back. That really pleased what he's done. If we started a game tomorrow, he'd be in that mix. He can shoot the ball. He's been taking it off the dribble, kind of a mismatch guy. So I'm looking forward to him. And we have a move in from Tipton, Dawson Pfeiffer, that as a sophomore he was on Tipton's sectional roster team, and he's came to Heights. It wasn't a recruiting situation. They had some advanced placement classes dropped over there, and he's a 4.0 student and needed to take those. So it was kind of a surprise to get him. So
That's a good surprise.
That's a good surprise, and he's working hard, and can't ask any more out of him. So we have 15 guys vying for 12 spots for the sectional. So as I've told him, we've got some of those guys can bounce back and forth. Who's playing well gets to stay up, and competition's good. It's nothing to be negative or mad about. Competition rises up, and we'll take the kids that get the job done for us.
Let's talk about another group of unsung heroes, your assistant coaches, because they sometimes don't get the credit, and they're a vital part to your programs.
Big time. I've got some outstanding guys. I've always said that you're only as good as what you surround yourself with, and I started out as an assistant with Basil Malby, and he took care of me and treated me right, and I learned a lot from him. And you need good guys around you. Brett Christ is my varsity assistant, one of the best I've had. Outstanding. X's and O's guys, unbelievable. So love having him around. I've learned a lot as you get older. I'm not afraid to turn things over to him because he's that good. Justin Lynch has been with me from my Knightstown days. He's a principal over in Fall Creek in Lawrence Township. He's been with me a long time. Matt Wallace is our new JV coach, longtime middle school coach, and move him up stability. He's an educator. He understands it. He's outstanding. He was with Bill Bowen before I got here. And Eric King as a varsity assistant, and he's been around a long time. When I first got here, he was my scorekeeper.
Really?
So he played at Anderson University, and he's been around a long time. J.R. Moffitt's been around here longer than anybody. I think he's on close to 30 years or 28 years as a freshman coach. He was with Kirby Overman and Bill Bowen and myself, so just does an outstanding job. And Brian Kuhn volunteers with him, and I got to mention my junior high guys. Derek Davis played for me. He does 8th grade. Craig Wolfgang does the 7th grade. We got him back on board. And, there's I don't know if there's a better junior program around. And Chad Hartwig is running our junior Huskies and very involved. And we just got outstanding guys. And it's the reason we've been successful are all those people we mentioned and the kids. I mean, we can throw all kinds of opportunities, but the kids got to take advantage of it, and it's all about the kids.
Absolutely, and I think that this Hamilton Heights program, because it is a total program, and you have a lot to do with it, not on the daily operations, but you do have a lot to do with the entire program, and that helps, and it helps that when you have good elementary and middle school coaches and freshman coaches, makes your job a lot easier when they become varsity players and they already know the basics, because you know as well as I do that in many schools a varsity coach still on the 2 and 3 level
Yeah.
classes still have to teach basic
That's right.
basketball, and that's not the case here at
No,
Hamilton.
we've been really fortunate. We take our kids to super hoops in the summer, just like Noblesville and some other schools. But our numbers are unbelievable when we go, and it's because those younger coaches, middle school and junior Huskies, have taught those kids and they've kept them interested. You know, and in today's world, it's about keeping those kids interested and playing multiple kids, because you don't know what kids are going to come out of there.
No.
And our numbers are extremely high, as I mentioned to you before we started. You know, we had to cut kids, which is unfortunate, but it shows that kids want to be a part of it, and we've got some great kids. So I couldn't be more pleased where our program's at right now.
Well, thanks a lot, Coach. I know you got practice here tonight, and I know you just finished school, so I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule, and hope, well, for sure, maybe you get 3 or 4 games under your belt, and I'll come back, and then when we get closer to the end of season, I'll come back again, and we can start looking and seeing where we're going to be sectional time, right?
Hey, I appreciate it. Come back anytime. I appreciate you covering us.
All right, thank you, Chad.